Okay, there are some new additions to the Eurorack setup. It's more Behringer modules and another Behringer Skiff and power supply. I felt the need to double up on the 1047 Multimode Filter and also the Abacus. The second Abacus isn't here yet, but it should be getting sent out today. And I also added a triple attenuator, 921 Oscillator, a CP3-A-M mixer. These are two Moog Modular clones, an oscillator and mixer. The mixer is kind of a big part of the Moog sound. It adds some harmonics and saturation and stuff when you turn the levels up. And then a dual VCA from the Roland 100M series, and a sequential switch, which I'm just using as a sub-oscillator generator right now. So I'm sequencing this from the Korg SQ-1. We can just hear it. Got to turn it up. So this is just one oscillator with the waveforms being mixed into the mixer, and a sub-oscillator added, and some feedback from the filter. So if we turn down the filter mod, that's just the saw wave, and then mixing it with the this oscillator has, let's just stop the sequence. So you might say, oh, this is all pretty basic subtractive stuff. You have all this stuff already. Why bother? The answer is the price. It's really cheap, and some of these things have features that are pretty useful in this setup. The mixer, for example, even with all this, the 2600, the .com system, and some added Eurorack things, there's really not that many mixers in this setup. So if I want to, say, send multiple things to the WestPass wave folder, I need some sort of extra mixer. So it will come in handy in almost every patch. The 1047 filter is just an excellent filter for the price. It's good for pinging. It's got 4 outputs of different modes. The notch mode has a knob that can switch between low pass on the one side and high pass on the other. Pretty useful. I got the second one to do stereo patches. That's also where the dual VCA comes in. The sequential switch can do a lot of different things. You could send 3 different LFOs and have it cycle between them, but the common use is to take 3 rows from an analog sequencer and turn it into a 24-step sequence. So I'll be doing that with the Make Noise O control pretty often. The second Abacus is pretty important to me because in the surge world, you a lot of times have a quad slope generator. I think the surge site was even called quad slope at one point. So 4 of these things are pretty useful. There's a lot of patches you can do with just 4 function generators or slew generators, whatever you want to call them. So The triple attenuator is pretty important because the Moog oscillator has no attenuators on the CV inputs. So this is good for that. And it's also good for the Cobalt, which has no attenuators on a lot of its modulation inputs. So this is a passive module. I could have kept it out of the case, but I thought might as well rack it up and give it some more stability so I can actually tweak the module. Let's just run the sequence again. So we can bring in the sub oscillator. Let's just hear the sub by itself. The one function generator I have modding the filter, and the other one is doing the pulse width mod on the oscillator, which you can't hear so well right now. So this oscillator and mixer are very similar to the .com oscillator and mixer. I'll show them up here for a second. The mixer is from Suit and Tie Guy, and it's, I'm pretty sure, based on the CP3 mixer. So at some point, this 5U system is going to be going back unless I get the chance to buy it. So I'm trying to replicate some of the functions from it. Like the oscillator has 6-position octave switch. It has a selectable waveform output, which the .com oscillators don't have. It has sync. It has a kind of strange sync called clamping, which I don't fully understand, but I think it can do some extra things. And it's got these switches for low frequency mode and for a wide tuning of the oscillator knob. So this can be, I think, semitones or like 6 octaves. So pretty useful oscillator. A little bit expensive for a Behringer module, but I think it's worth it. Not too much else to say. I guess that's the update. I might swap the modules a little bit around between the cases and put the 2 filters next to each other or the 2 Abacuses next to each other, depending what kind of patches I'm doing more often. So that's it for this update. Thanks for watching.